Hey, how's it going, everybody? Before I start today's video, I just want to go ahead and say it's been a rough week. We lost in the car community an inspiration and a legend, Ken Block. And that hurts because he was a big inspiration to all of us in the car community, and he's gonna be missed. Also, I personally lost somebody at work who was close to me, who was a good friend and a coworker. So I just wanted to start off on that note. So let's get to the video. This is a gigantic knob that controls your fan speed, and then the gigantic knob over here is what controls your temperature. These have to be the biggest controls ever on a vehicle, on a production vehicle. Please let me know in the comments if you know of any other car with a control knob for climate control bigger than these, because I'm almost certain there is not any. This is the 2017 Chevy Camaro. Of course, this isn't just your, V8 muscle car that we used to have back decades and decades ago. It's a modern muscle car. Handles better, drives better, faster than they ever were before. Now, the big thing about this is this particular one has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's turbocharged, but it's a 4-cylinder in this. Now, of course, there's many people who call blasphemy and all that, but it's not the first time it's ever happened. Early 80s, we had the Berlinetta, and Ford also had the LX Mustang, which was a 4-cylinder, the Fox body. And Mopar had something that was absolutely laughable that they called a Charger in the 80s. Go ahead and Google it. I'll leave that story for another video. The way this is designed is it's very nice. It's very future retro, like a futuristic retro model. They pretty much followed the steps that Ford did when they introduced the 2006 Mustang, and it was a retro design. Unlike, the Thunderbird that was an absolute failure and it looked hilarious. This, on the other hand, looks pretty great. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a fan of the Camaro. But after driving this, I'm not really turned down by it. It's actually pretty fun. I've driven same style Mustang, like the same year Mustang I've driven. I haven't driven a Challenger yet, but I hope to. I really love the Challengers. So, of course, back to the original story, 80s. Fuel problems. We need gas efficiency. So, of course, history never stops replaying itself. So here we are again, decades later. Fuel is still an issue. Not really running out of it, just expensive. 4-cylinder has returned to the Camaro, though it's turbocharged. And I'll tell you what, for the size of the car and the weight, this 4-cylinder does turn pretty good. It has 275 horsepower. Of course, it's not as much as the competition of the Mustang EcoBoost, which pushes about 310. But this also came with a 3.6-liter V6 that you could get, which pushed 335 horsepower, or of course you go all the way up to the V8 with 650 horsepower. This is pretty much your basic Camaro that you can get. This is the LT package. It has the 20-inch alloys. You got the LED lighting here and here, the ambient lighting. But all in all, the style is pretty nice. I like the way they designed it. Getting in and out of this isn't bad. The seats are quite comfortable, and this comes with the cloth interior. So yeah, it's cloth. But yeah, it's not bad. The bolsters on the side they're stiff, but they have some give. This interior layout is insane. Here's the interior, which is very interesting. You have your instrument cluster there, and of course you have the Chevy MyLink there on the dash. This is where things get interesting. Here are your vents that are usually up here. Even though there is pretty much some space for it, they decided to put it down here. I'm gonna stop that. That is not all. This is a gigantic knob that controls your fan speed, and then the gigantic knob over here is what controls your temperature. All the other controls are here, but I just can't. Why? What the? These have to be the biggest controls ever on a vehicle, on a production vehicle. Please let me know in the comments if you know of any other car with a control knob for climate control bigger than these, because I'm almost certain there is not any. Anyway, mode switches, traction control, parking brake. You have this armrest here with this tiny little space here for something, cup holders. Very nice. Glove box. Like I said, this interior is it's like a retrofied 73 Camaro. That's what this dash reminds me of, a 73 Camaro. There you go. Back seat. My driving position. What? Who's getting back there? Yeah. Look at that. No. Yep, my camera can't adjust that. No, like these probably very pointless seats, and honestly, if I owned a Camaro, they'd be gone, because that's just added weight that you don't need. So being a, kind of fastback, you could say, with the long sloping rear window and the way the roof comes down, your trunk space isn't sacrificed. But what is, because of this design, it has a huge trunk. That trunk is pretty big. But look at this. How are you supposed to get anything in here? This is ridiculous. You'd think, now hold on, you think that they say screw it, go with the old school design hinge for a trunk, and make the trunk come out more. No, this is all tail light, the hinge. This is all wasted space that could have been used for the trunk opening if they would have thought a little harder the designing, because this is insane. Yeah, there's a trunk release here. How are you getting in there? You can't fit nothing can fit. You can't fit somebody in here. If you try to kidnap somebody, they're gonna laugh at you because they're not getting in this trunk. It's ridiculous. I want to show you something fun about this trunk in here, even though there's a lot of space under the hood, which I'll show you in a second. Hey, battery. Hello, right in the trunk. And this, yep. That's right. This massive space, and you only get this 4-cylinder turbo. Don't get me wrong. This is a pretty good engine. It's actually very peppy for what it is. This is a 2-liter. There's a lot of room up here, and it's peppy. it runs, you know what I mean? It does what it needs to do. And this specific one has a short ram intake. With the short ram, it actually sounds great. You hear all the turbo noises, yada yada. It has some fun to it, some fun factor. But again, it's what the car is. The car, it's a Camaro. So it's synonymous with a V8, like the Mustang is, and the Challenger, and the Charger now, not in the 80s. So my whole thing is, do these really deserve all the hate they get? Honestly, not necessarily. I think they're, for what they are with the 4-cylinder, the V6, sure, it's, I'm not a fan because there's no turbo noises. So I think what the car embodies is, it embodies the soul of the Camaro. It is indeed a Camaro, no matter what engine's in there. As I stated in the beginning, this has a 275 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder. Yay! So of course, yeah, no, it's not the best Camaro you can get, but it's a Camaro. I feel pretty comfortable in here. The seats have these side bolsters that aren't too aggressive. They're there, but I fit. It grips the road pretty good. It feels very solid, very planted. I don't have a lot of body roll. So I'm gonna do a little 0 to 60 on this. See how we do. I want to see how it feels compared to the Supra, since that's also a rear-wheel drive 4-cylinder turbo vehicle, and also a 2-door, though this has 2 extra seats in the back, so a little different, very different. I'm going to turn traction control off. Now, does it have like a full off mode? Alright, so in this, traction control is just traction control. There's no, it doesn't seem like it has like a special, you know, like a stability control turn off. I just hit it and it's instantly just the light comes on and it says TC with the line across it. I'm gonna brake boost it a little bit. Ready? Here we go. Not bad. Not bad. That was, according to the performance counter, that was 6 seconds flat, which isn't horrible. So, I wanted to see how quick the paddle shifts reacted to each shift. And there's a little bit of leniency there, a little bit of lag. It's not as quick and instantaneous as the Supra was that I drove a few weeks ago. Oh, it's very delayed. Depending on how you're going, there's a bit of a lag there. It's it definitely has a good amount of oomph. Again, 275 horsepower isn't horrible. It's relatively an average amount these days. I swear everything has well over 200 horsepower nowadays. I remember when 200 horsepower was like, whoa, holy crap. Like, it was, 200 horsepower was not your average sedan horsepower or even coupe power. Hell, the old Lincoln Mark 8s had 280 and 290 with the LSC. And that was a beast, especially in the early 90s. And now this is for, you know, every day. It's pretty alright, but it's subpar power. But, you know, Camaro should definitely have its power. But again, 275, it's not horrible. It's not the worst. And you know, I have to say, after driving the Supra, I used to think visibility was actually absolute garbage in this, but after driving the Supra, I can see the visibility actually isn't horrible in this. Even in sport mode, the transmission seems to shift quickly through all the gears. It doesn't seem to hold it, I guess, probably until you get, you know, a little bit aggressive with it. And again, this is a 8-speed. Because let's throw 8 speeds in everything. Alright, let's see how it goes in handling wise. Here we go. It definitely moves, I'll tell you that. The horn is very Camaro-y, American. One thing I did notice too, in sport mode, the steering definitely gets tighter. Not bad. It's definitely a pretty good corner hungry car. Yeehaw! Kicking the side out a little bit. It grips, it handles, it definitely muscle cars. The rear wants to kick, like, that's without a doubt. It wants to have fun, and that's what owning a rear wheel drive car is all about, you know. It's about having that fun. And the Camaro, even only in a 4-cylinder, it provides a good amount of fun, and you're getting the fuel efficiency there as well. You know, you can have some fun and save gas at the same time. Woo! I hope you enjoyed this review. Again, thanks to my Patreon supporter, Cynthia. If you want to support the channel, check out the link below to my Patreon. Check out my Facebook page. I have a TikTok. I have an Instagram. Check it out down below. I try to post as much as I can, but, you know. Anyway, I want to thank my subscribers. I'm almost at 500 subs. I'm getting there slowly. I'd like to keep pushing on. Please help me out. My goal for the year, I want to try to get to at least 1,000 subs this year and for 2023. And I can only do that with your guys' help. So please like, share, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. I'm gonna go ahead and take this for a drive then. Oh, it's locked. I am going for a drive.